Welcome to the news episode of Squawk 7000. On this week's podcast, Aer Lingus and JetBlue announce an expansion of their codeshare agreement, Galway Flying Club celebrates its 75th anniversary, and the first fly-in for 2022 is announced.
Aer Lingus and JetBlue have announced that they are expanding their codeshare partnership to offer passengers more ways to book and connect their travel between the two airlines' networks. The new codeshare flights are now available for booking on the JetBlue website. JetBlue will place its B6 code on 4 Aer Lingus routes between JetBlue's northeast focus cities and Ireland as part of a new bilateral codeshare. The initial routes offered are between New York JFK and Boston Logan International Airports to Dublin and Shannon. JetBlue has said it intends to add further routes beyond Ireland in the future. JetBlue and Aer Lingus have partnered since 2008 and in 2013 announced a unilateral codeshare agreement. The Aer Lingus EI code is available on more than 42 JetBlue routes and offers customers convenient connections through JetBlue's New York and Boston hubs. Aer Lingus will operate 16 transatlantic routes from Dublin, Shannon and Manchester to North America and the Caribbean in 2022. On the 11th of August, JetBlue started its first transatlantic service with a new daily route between JFK and London Heathrow using the Airbus A321neo.
This year, Galway Flying Club celebrates its 75th anniversary. The club is the longest operating flying club in the country, founded in 1946 and originally was based in Oranmore. In 1974, they were invited to move to Galway Airport at Carnmore by the then owners and have been operating there ever since. It has around 100 members and operates 2 modern 4-seater Cessna aircraft. They've recently been awarded Approved Training Organisation approval by the IAA, allowing them to train pilots to the next level of flight instructor. Join us next week for a special episode about the Galway Flying Club.
Global Flight Training Solutions and Deneen Aviation Services have collaborated to provide a new full-time commercial pilot programme. The benefits of this programme include a dual licensing with FAA and EASA CPL and MEIR for the cost of just one licence, as well as MCC within the time frame of training. Leading figures of the airline industry fully mentor the programme and give the students the ability to qualify in their timeframe without the penalties or extra costs associated with integrated programmes. GFTS can also provide flight training without ancillary landing and takeoff fees or fuel surcharges. In contrast, the unique environment around Immokalee Airport Training Centre in Florida has no restrictions for training. GFTS can also give pilot credits for previous licences or hours held and provide the student with one complete flight school report detailing their performance throughout the entire programme to help them prepare for an airline interview. You can hear more about GFTS in a previous episode when we spoke with GFTS founder Victor Costello.
Atlantic Aviation Group based in Shannon has extended its EASA Part 21 design operation approval to include supplemental type certificate cabin changes. In addition to Atlantic's existing design services, the approval includes STC changes to cabin interiors, cargo compartments, electrical cabin systems, external schemes, placards and markings, flight deck interiors, and the STC approval for wireless transmission systems. The approval comes as Atlantic announced its recent acquisition of Lufthansa Technik Shannon in October, further expanding the group's services.
The Irish Historic Flight Foundation has released its 2022 calendar to mark 100 years of aviation in the Irish state. Aviation has contributed significantly to the state's growth over the last 100 years. The 2022 calendar highlights some of the achievements in Irish aviation and displays them in superb quality. The photos selected for the calendar include aircraft such as the Big Fella, the first aircraft purchased by the Irish state in October 1921, Nancy Corrigan in her AT-6A Harvard, Uller, the first aircraft purchased by Aer Lingus, and a Pan Am Boeing 314 Clipper Foynes. More recently, it's hard to ignore the Irish success stories of Ryanair and ASL Airlines. Both are featured, as well as some Air Corps aircraft and, of course, the Irish historic fleet of Chipmunks and their Boeing Stearman. For more information, you can visit the IHF website at irishhistoricflight.com.
Well, Dublin-based subsidiary of AerCap, Milestone Aviation, has announced that they will provide 2 Sikorsky S-92 search and rescue helicopters, 2 CHC helicopters. The 2 S-92 helicopters will be used to support a multi-year contract recently awarded to CHC by Norway's Ministry of Justice for SAR services. The helicopters will be delivered in January 2022 and will be based in Tromsø, Norway, and will commence missions shortly after that. Milestone has a long relationship with CHC and already has leases with CHC, with helicopters deployed across various missions, including oil and gas, emergency medical services and SAR.
The DAA has reported that almost 1.4 million passengers travelled through Dublin Airport during November, a 38% drop when compared to pre-COVID-19 levels, but an increase of 1.2 million passengers when compared to 2020. Passenger volumes to and from continental Europe were down 28%, UK traffic was down 42%, and North American traffic was down by 63%. Following the easing of restrictions on visitors to the United States, Dublin Airport saw an increase of 80,000 passengers travelling to and from North America in November 2021 versus the same period last year. This year has seen 7.3 million passengers travelling through Dublin Airport, a 76% decline on pre-COVID figures of 2019, and a slight increase of 2% on the 2020 figures. And finally this week, the first fly-in for 2022 has been announced, and it will take place at Birr over the weekend of the 2nd and 3rd of April. As usual, the event will kick off the flying season and includes the famous breakfast. However, in 2022, the Ravens display team will attend and formally launch their new colour scheme. Put your date in the diary and we'll have more details to come closer to the time.
I think we'll be at that one. Thanks, Mark. You can find these stories and more on flyinginireland.com. And a reminder that you can listen to our long final editions too. Over the Christmas week break, we'll bring you some of the highlights from the Gasky Safety Evening held last week. And we'll be talking next week with members of the Galway Flying Club as they celebrate their 75th anniversary. You'll find these episodes and more wherever you get your podcasts and on our site squawk7000.ie and flyinginireland.com. Thanks for listening.